I mean, this is a reality check. Like, you failed. YouTube, what's going on, gang? We got a lot to talk about. Call of Duty is dying. Multiplayer, Warzone, whichever way you look at it, it's just dying right now. And that's their own fault. That's Activision's fault. Not so much Microsoft. Microsoft's a new player, but in this video, I have a message for Microsoft, Activision, Treyarch, anybody else who sits under the Microsoft umbrella. And, you know, it's like, you hear that the game is dying. I know there's a lot of people that are happy, they're laughing about it. You might be surprised, you might not be surprised. Call of Duty is my favorite game. I've been playing Call of Duty for 16 years, give or take 1 or 2 years. But I'm pretty sure I've been playing for 16 years. I don't want Call of Duty to die, but I'm also someone who's going to be very honest. Like I said, I'll keep it real with you guys. That's one of the things in my intro sequence. Keeping it real. I'm always going to keep it real. And honestly, you guys messed up. You messed up. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to talk about what you've done to the game. And then I'm going to pull up each version of the game. With each game that I look at, I'm going to say the one thing that you added to the game that was negative that comes to mind off the top of the dome. By the way, I know you see I still got the tags on this, you know, keep it a little thuggin'. Let's really talk about this. Here's what you've done to the overall franchise. You've saturated your clientele. You've monetized everything to the point where you've super saturated your own market. It's actually insane. I don't know who does your business planning, but they clearly aren't doing a good job at forecasting. I'm a business major. Give me the job, bro. You can't just keep squeezing your clientele to the point where they have no more guap. If you don't understand slang, guap equals money. You can't keep squeezing people like this. That's actually crazy. You're robbing them and you're not even giving them good quality for what they're paying for. That's really not a good look. No wonder your game is dying. You've injected so many different little changes into the game that snowball into a system or a scenario where even the most skilled players can't be more skilled than other players, so that people would stay at a certain elimination death ratio, win-loss ratio. They wouldn't be so concerned with how many eliminations and deaths they have. A game that's based off of winning and losing. You've actually manipulated it. The days of people having a KDR or elimination death ratio of 8.0 is pretty much gone until Black Ops 7, of course. But there's some caveats with Black Ops 7, and one is that you're not telling the truth. Well, you're not lying, but I don't think you're telling the truth. I might be new to YouTube, but I'm not new to the game. And you guys might not be doing skill-based matchmaking. And I looked up what determines your skill, and I believe it's your elimination death ratio plus your accuracy plus your score or something like that. That's what constitutes somebody's skill. So you're no longer matching up everybody based on those things. But what if you're still matching them up based on 2 out of those 3 things? Technically, you're not meeting the definition of skill, but you're still matching them up based on their elimination death ratio and their score per minute. You just didn't add in the 3rd one. It's hard to say, but you're gaslighting us, bro. You've been gaslighting us for a while, and it's not okay. And, you know, I'm not looking for you guys to fail, but you guys are the ones that said you're too big to fail. Too big to fail, bro. Crazy. Too big to fail. You've been failing for the last 6 years, in my opinion. The last 6 Call of Duties you've made, you've been failing. And then if we include Black Ops 7, that's the last 7 games you've been failing. So don't be talking about you're too big to fail. Failure is more than just making your quota. Obviously, the only thing you're concerned about, and you've shown it, is money. So of course you think you're too big to fail, because every year you've racked up and racked up and racked up, but you've saturated your market. So it all comes full circle to the beginning where I said you've saturated your own clientele, your own market share. You've added things like a really fast time to die to the game. You've nerfed movement in the game. You've given this idea that things are supposed to be ultra realistic in order to justify things like slowing down reload times, so that people can't reload their guns as quickly in a game. When if you go over to Battlefield 6 right now, you reload really fast in that game, and that game is way more realistic than Call of Duty. So what are you really trying to justify here? All these things you're using to justify the decisions you're making, which are ultimately just so that you could drive revenue for your company while neglecting your actual player base. You've added these extreme head glitches to the game to the point where people are just hiding behind boxes or cars, shooting other people. For anybody that doesn't know what a head glitch is, is when I'm behind an object and my opponent can only see like the top of my head, but barely. But from my perspective, I can see their whole body and possibly their ancestors behind them. That's how much I can see. And they can only see my hair. It's crazy. So everybody's hiding behind boxes. Nobody's moving because you've made the movement slower. Everybody dies really fast. So it's almost like we're playing the hardcore game mode. You've made the game unplayable. I don't know how many times I've said that phrase, but the game is unplayable. That's what you've done. Now, anybody looking at this and saying this is rage bait, it's not rage bait. All I'm doing is spitting facts. These are the things that you've done to monetize the game. Lee, like, yo, the shop is always on point. The shop's got everything you need. You can get a 10-piece bucket with fries, gravy, whatever you think of, you can go to the shop and get it. You mean to tell me after certain updates, the game crashes? It's just a bit sloppy, bro. I've never had the game crash when I'm doing a transaction in the store. All right, too big to fail? Like, I gotta go back to that one.
Too big to fail.
Too big to fail?
Crazy.
Yo, I mean, this is a reality check. Like, you failed. I would say, okay. And then when you do bad, now you look stupid. You look dumb. You look stupid. So those are the things that off the top of my head, by the way, that you've done to the entire franchise. I haven't delved into each game yet. I'm going to start from after Black Ops 4. Black Ops 4 was the last good one you made. So let's go right here. Call of Duty 2019. You also launched Call of Duty Mobile. You also launched Warzone not too soon after. Okay, Call of Duty 2019 wasn't bad. The movement was decent. Great game at its core. The maps were a little big, I think, a little widespread. Some people like that, some people don't. That's a difference of opinion. That doesn't make the game good or bad. You could easily just design a smaller map and throw it in the game. Now the game is good. Overall, the game is good at its core, but you added skill-based matchmaking. That is the first negative thing that comes to my mind when I think of Call of Duty 2019. You added skill-based matchmaking. I'll add one more thing to that, because, you know, skill-based matchmaking, always a hot topic, not for a good reason. You also brought out Warzone not too soon after. As soon as you brought out Warzone, I honestly think you started to neglect multiplayer, and it really shows. It really shows. All right, 2020, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. You cranked up the skill-based matchmaking. The first negative thing that comes to mind for that for me is the skill-based matchmaking was on infinity. It was not playable, and the TTK I think was a bit fast. I got my first personal record of 107 kills on Nuketown, and after I got 107 kills in that game, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't win a match. I couldn't go above 500. As soon as I did too well, it's like, hey, there's a dial here, and we're just gonna incinerate you. And that's what you did. And I'm sure there's a lot of other players that felt that too. Cool. Call of Duty Vanguard. Oh my God. I know you guys introduced that whole pacing thing. I feel like you were using us as guinea pigs, which you often do. Another thing that maybe you shouldn't, we're people. The movement speed was just cracked out. Everybody was running around the map like the Roadrunner. Everybody was zooted. It was crazy. Fire damage was insane. All these things that create fire in the game, and the fire damage was just nuts. If someone has the opportunity to hit you with fire in that game, you might as well just turn off your game. And most notably, every single map was made out of paper mache. Paper mache, like, I'm not even joking. Anybody who doesn't play Call of Duty will be like, what? Bro, you could destroy every wall with 2 shots. It was ridiculous. I could be running away from somebody, turn a corner, they know I'm behind the wall, they're just gonna spray the wall. All of a sudden the wall disappears. I felt like I was on an episode of Art Attack. It was ridiculous. Okay, that's enough on that one. Modern Warfare 2 2022. I honestly think might be the worst Call of Duty of all time. Should I just go to the next game? Okay, here's what you did. You guys had something called slide canceling that you introduced in Modern Warfare 2019. That was actually a glitch. You did it by accident, but you kept it because you knew the player base liked it. Okay, fast forward to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 2022. You guys decided to get rid of slide canceling. The whole community was mad about it. All right, cool. So let's get rid of that. Then let's also make movement speed even slower, to the point where if you didn't play it, I'll tell you exactly how it felt for me. I could push my joystick as hard as possible. I could actually push it as hard. My fingers would hurt because I'm trying to make my player go faster. The movement speed was that slow. You added a whole bunch of visual recoil to the game. Shooting your gun, you can't even see. Muzzle flash, smoke, whatever it is. There was just so much visual noise. You can't even see what you're shooting at. Not only was it unplayable at times, but it was just garbage. I don't even think removing skill-based matchmaking would have saved that game. It was just bad. Oh, you nerfed the mounting abilities. So it took people forever to climb up one box to get through a window, or just climb up one box in general. It was to the point where the advice online was don't mount, don't climb anything. Why would you have these mechanics in the game? Just nerf them all. Oh, that's right, because you want everybody to be at the same skill level to retain as much players as possible. You know, the diehard fans are gonna stay, but you want the really not so good players who are new to it to also want to stay. And that's not how shit works. That's a bad culture. You're creating a bad culture there because you're pampering players. And then when those players finally meet stress or adversity, they're gonna wanna quit. Fast forward to Modern Warfare 3. You guys made a problem and you sold us the solution for 2023 by basically saying, hey guys, we're gonna bring back slide canceling. Hey guys, we're gonna increase the speed of mounting. So you brought back the slide canceling, you fixed the mounting, the movement. Okay, cool. Skill-based matchmaking cranked even more. The game didn't even come out yet. The beta, people were saying the skill-based matchmaking is too high. This game is ridiculously hard to play. It's borderline unplayable. That's what you did. Moving on to finally Black Ops 6. Bruh, the time to kill was, I think, a bit too fast in that game. I mean, unicorn farts. I'm not joking here. This is a fact. Unicorns farting in people's faces. But we're talking about something that's supposed to be ultra realistic. All right, and you bring in Omni movement, which I don't mind Omni movement. I like Omni movement, but I think there's a large part of the player base that doesn't like movement like this. Like, they don't want to see movement on a snail pace, but I think Omni movement just allowed things to be a little more cracked out than they should have been. And anybody who doesn't know this, Omni movement is not much different from the advanced movement that they had in Advanced Warfare. Not Infinite Warfare, Advanced Warfare, where you could do this jetpack move and kind of just shift yourself to the side. Omni movement is the same thing. When you go to dive, you just dive that way and you're just like, yeet, you know? So it's not much different, but I don't know if the player base liked that. From what I've heard, the player base didn't like Advanced Warfare. So you added a mechanic that visually looks different, but is pretty much the same in Black Ops 6. Are you even listening to your player base? For the entire year, my custom class 1 was broken, but the store worked. I could attach any weapon to it, go into the game, pick my custom class, and it would be the default stock weapon that I started the game with back when the game first came out for the entire year. But I could go to the store and buy a bundle. I could go to the store and buy some double XP points, some gobble gums. First of all, why am I paying for gobble gums? Why am I paying for double XP? I own the game. I've bought the game. You've done a series of deplorable things, nerfing XP bonuses, you know, after matches, you know, showing the visual of a circle going up, but actually not really increasing someone's experience, making it really hard and time taking to complete the battle pass so that people will stay on your game. All of these things you're doing to monetize the game. It's all about player retention, customer retention. And yes, again, that works, but only until you saturate everything. Now, what are you going to do? From a business standpoint, you guys aren't really thinking about this. Like, who are you paying to do this? Who's actually doing the analytics here? Because this is terrible. And honestly, your business practices are just right now deplorable. Microsoft, Activision, and anybody under you guys, none of you are accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Say that 5 times fast. But yeah, none of you are accredited. Microsoft isn't accredited. So maybe you should actually start treating your players and your market, the people you're targeting, like people. Maybe you should stop doing deplorable things. $1,000 word? Maybe not. Maybe $800 word. Stop doing sketchy things and stop manipulating us. Skill is minimally prioritized in Black Ops 7. So why is it the other day when I dropped 77 kills, that's my highest on this game so far. I'm a casual player, I'm not a pro. 77 kills, immediately I got booted from that lobby once the match was over and put into a next lobby where I could not go above breaking even to save my life. Even if you're not prioritizing skill, you are factoring something else in that is giving us the same sort of experience from time to time. Stop going through YouTubers, stop going through Twitter, users on Twitter, instead of using your own official page. You're doing that because if you post it to your verified pages, someone could file a product liability suit against you, and you don't want that. So you're using other YouTubers to pass along messages, other Twitter accounts to pass along messages. Yo, it's just a little much, bro. Just make the game properly. Stop trying to gaslight us. The other thing you're doing, you know, calling the player base dumb by saying a pick 10 system, it just might be too complex. Really? Even if it's too complex, the person who finds it too complex can just learn. That's it. But don't try to make it seem like the player base is dumb, or say something passively that is kind of calling the entire player base dumb, or the majority of it at least, because the pick 10 system is just a little more complicated. Like, come on, man. These are things that I'm talking about. You don't actually see the player base as people, and that's something that needs to change. I'm not making this video to kick you while you're down. You guys are doing that to yourself. You guys brought yourselves down there, and it's all because of your own actions. Me making this video isn't going to change that. But what can change is what you do on a day-to-day, how you treat your player base. And you know, the changes you've made in Black Ops 7 are pretty good. So I'd say keep it up. Definitely keep it up, but also be transparent. You're not being transparent right now. There's something wrong with the matchmaking. And if there wasn't, then why did you get rid of the phrasing that you used in the beta where it said classic skill-based matchmaking, or classic matchmaking, sorry, where it said classic matchmaking? Why would you change it? And you put out a Twitter post that says matchmaking will be similar to what we used in the beta. It's not the same, and you're lying to people by telling them it is. So stop lying. Stop lying to your player base. And the good things that you're doing now, you're gonna have to do that for a few years now. You can't just expect it to be all better after Black Ops 7. You're gonna have to do this for a few years. It's a lot of work, but it's your own doing. I'm not happy about it, and I'm not gonna rejoice at somebody else's misfortune, but this is your karma. I'll tell you how it is. This is your karma. As we say in Toronto, it's time to fix up, bro. Fix up. Microsoft, my message to you would be, I know you're new to the party, but you picked these guys up. You must have been combing through their inner workings in order to finally make the choice to acquire them. So it's time for you to put your foot down. You guys also aren't really the greatest and most trustworthy either, but you might have a better understanding of this. Giving a premium product to your clientele is the best way to retain your clientele. Putting small band-aids and small fixes will only last so long. You need to give people premium quality. You need to give them quality. Quality over quantity if necessary. People want quality. People want their money's worth for what they're paying for. My message to Activision: stop lying. Why you always lying? Stop lying, bro. Stop lying and then trying to gaslight us, bro. I've seen so many videos from Blame Truth, Nero Cinema. I won't mention all of them, but like, I've seen so many videos from people on YouTube that just literally will show you posting something on Twitter and then posting something that contradicts it like a week later. And it's usually about something that the player base is unhappy with, in which you say, oh, well, this is not actually an issue, or we've resolved this issue, but you haven't, or it is an issue. So just stop lying. Stop trying to manipulate the player base into thinking that what's going on is okay, and just do better. I know I might sound a bit mean for saying that, but it's not good. People are paying money for this. You know how much time goes into work to earn your wages? The economy's not good. People are unhappy. Food is expensive. Bro, at one point, lettuce was $17. That's how bad things are getting in the economy. If you're thinking about subscribing, I want you to go check out a couple more of my videos on my page and see if you like those ones too. At least 2 of my videos, then subscribe. Anyways, thanks for watching. Don't forget to keep it thuggin'. That's my message to you.
Fresh fit, fitted on my hot end. Whole team all up in the field like a tight end. This is for my ladies in my right hand, working all day, getting paid when the night ends. Fresh fit, fitted on my hot end. Whole team all up in the field like a tight end. This is for my ladies in my right hand.